Hi, I'm Kim Spencer, and I'm here, and I'm going to be reading and talking about Great Expectations for the Richmond Public Library's 100 Reads RVA. So, this book has a tremendous impact on me. It's amazing the level of impact. When I was a kid, I was haunted by this dream, vision, whatever you want to call it, of a dark room, a big table, a woman on fire. And I would have dreams about this, and I would think about it, and I would ask my mom, what is this from? Why do I keep having this vision? And we would talk to friends, and this went on for years, never really knowing. And then in high school, we started reading Great Expectations. And the whole time I'm reading it, I'm like, there's something familiar about this. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then one day in class, we got to this part. I looked into the room where I had left her, and I saw her seated in a ragged chair upon the hearth close to the fire, with her back towards me. And the moment when I was withdrawing my head to go quietly away, I saw a great flaming light spring up, and in the same moment I saw her running at me, shrieking, with a wheel of fire blazing all about her, and soaring at least as my feet above her head, as she was high. I had a double-caped greatcoat on, and over my arm another thick coat. That I got them off, closed with her, threw her down, and got them over her, that I dragged the great cloth from the table for the same purpose, and with it dragged down the heat of rottenness in the midst, and all the ugly things that sheltered there, that we were on the ground struggling like desperate enemies, and that the closer I covered her, the more wildly she shrieked and tried to free herself. I got to that part and freaked out in the middle of class, and I'm like, oh my God, because I realized what I was reading. Finally, I got home, I waited for my mom, because of course I was a latchkey kid. She gets home from work, I'm like, I think I know what it's from. And I showed her and I read her the passage. And we both just kind of sat there and we're like, okay, there's gotta be a movie. It had to have been a movie that I had seen. Of course, this was before the internet. We couldn't search for anything. We had no idea. But come Christmas, my mom hunted down the VHS tape of Great Expectations by David Lean, and I watched that movie over and over and over again. Not to mention the fact that I just fell in love with this book as a result, because I finally understood what this meant to me. And it meant so much to the point where it solidified my love of film, the written narrative and how it transforms into the visual narrative. I got my master's degree in film studies, and my focus was to trace film noir back through to the romantic Gothic novel, which is basically Charles Dickens. Most of his works were of the Gothic time period. And it's never left me. I mean, David Lean is one of my favorite film directors. I love Dickens, and it's amazing how this one book had such a tremendous, long-lasting impact on my life in a way I never could have imagined or would have thought possible. And I'm looking forward to reading it to my kids and showing them the film. Hopefully not giving them nightmares, but at least giving them an understanding and sharing this with them and see what kind of impact it makes, and hoping that they'll find a book and a film that will have the same impact on them. So thank you. I forget what else I did. So keep reading, Richmond. There's so many wonderful, amazing books out there, and so many ways in which you can read and digest information. So don't stop reading. I'm in front of Red Cap Bakery, which is a favorite stop of mine. Not only is it a great place, but it also reminds me of all these wonderful, amazing baked goods. And the scene in the movie and in the book was covered with, it was from her wedding. So it was the wedding cake. It was all the bakery items that had long rotted away and were, covered with cobwebs and bugs. These are nice and fresh and much better tasting, but that was one of the reasons why I chose Red Cap.